Welcome back to DBC, and today we are finishing with clean language, revealing metaphors and opening minds. Quick summary of the book and just a couple of comments about it. So the end of the book really kind of focuses on directing a client's attention inward to their own sort of metaphoric landscape. And there's some really cool stuff in there about working with nonverbals and really getting the client to explore what happens in what order, which is what the authors call sequence, in their own metaphoric landscapes, and drawing their attention to what I believe, even though they don't really say it, what is the client's unconscious mind bringing things up. So I would say overall, clean language, what did I like about it? A really cool system of questions, of great questions, I would say, for directing a client toward their own metaphors and exploring it while minimizing assumptions made on behalf of the interviewer or the questioner or the practitioner. That was really cool. So I learned a lot about listening better and paying more attention to the words people use and the metaphors that we use without thinking about them. And the idea there is that that's not an accident, the ones that we choose to use, even though it's not necessarily a conscious choice. However, that said, I really struggled getting through this book more than any book so far. A couple of negatives: there wasn't really any references to any studies that was done. It's all sort of anecdotal from the authors. And they've got a lot of time doing this, but I think it would be a little better. Sometimes I would be looking for okay, it's a statement, and well, is there a study about that, or is it just from what you guys have found? So a little bit more academic rigor would have been nice. And I think maybe the book could have been a little shorter too, because I didn't really get too much from the end of it. I felt like it went on a little too long. However, one really cool thing was that at the beginning of the book, when we're really getting into the fundamentals of metaphor, they mention Mark Johnson, who's a philosopher, in his book, first one, Metaphors We Live By. And the cool thing, just as on a personal note, was that I studied philosophy at the University of Oregon, where Mark Johnson was in the philosophy department, which was really cool. However, at the time, I found his classes and what he was working on to be pretty boring from a philosophical point of view. And now that, it's been over 10 years since I've been out of college, I found myself drawn to his work while, this is a decade after being there, sort of debunking this idea that when the student is ready, the teacher will appear, because in that case, the teacher was there and the student wasn't ready yet, but the teacher was still present, although not necessarily explicitly acknowledged. So that was a really cool connection to read all of his books, to see them all and how heavily these authors have drawn from him. That said, it was tough. I think I'm going to try reading it again later in the year to see if I can come back and get some more out of it. And thanks for watching. We will see you next time.